Brian Nelson.
Next week, MIS, a lot of guys really love racing there. Can you talk a little bit about why and your feelings about that track in particular?
Yeah, Michigan's fun just for the fact that you can race from the wall to the bottom of the racetrack, and the tires fall off a lot, so you have to have a good handling car. But if your car's not handling like you need to, there's options, you know, to move around the racetrack and try to find a groove that helps your car work better. So, you know, it's a fun place to go, and I think all of us look forward to going up there.
We got Jay and then Colin.
Jay Pennell with All Left Turns and Front Stretch. I wanted to ask you about working on the pit box on the Nationwide and Truck Series. Has that helped you kind of relate to your crew chiefs in the Cup Series and how that's kind of evolved over the years of, you know, going from just a regular pit cart to something that's so high tech and it's so involved, and how does that help you on the weekends?
Well, I think it's the main thing that those pit boxes are used for are sponsors. You know, it allows the guests to sit up on the pit box and be a part of the action up close and personal. From an owner's perspective, they're expensive as hell.
Does that help you relate to upside at all, or
the pit box?
Yeah, just being up there during the race, during the Nationwide Series, and seeing what they go through the race and all the information that they have.
Well, there is a lot of information, but in the end, it's still just the same stuff sitting up on the pit box. They just don't have to get off of the pit box to go look at their tire wear and stuff. They just hit a button and look at it on the screen. So there's a lot of information that's used that they don't have to get up and go look at.
Kevin, Colin, Rick Bond, WBRE TV here in Wilkes-Barre. You talked about the bumps. There's the turns. How challenging is this track, and do you enjoy the challenge? Yeah,
I really enjoy coming here. You know, the track is unique, and I think for me that's one of the bright spots of coming here, other than the weather's usually nice and it's not as hot as everywhere else that we go. But for me, you know, like turns 1 is really bumpy on the bottom. If you can get your car to work down there, you can pass people, but for the most part you got to run in the middle of the racetrack, and there's a lot of high-speed corners, or there's a high-speed corner in the tunnel turn back there. And then the patch really added a different element because you have options going into turn 3 now. So there's just a lot of unique challenges. Not only the racetrack just unique shape, but the challenges of the racetrack in itself are fun. And every lap, you know, it's fun as a driver to go in the next turn because the tires are falling off and you have to adjust lap after lap.
Okay, we've got Tom Bowles, Pat Patterson. We'll come over here at ABC Local.
Tom Bowles, SIandFrontStretch.com. Kevin, all year, we started off with Hendrick winning a bunch of races. Then the focus was to Gibbs, and now Kurt Busch wins. Everybody says, oh, he's a title contender. Nobody's really focusing on you guys that much, even though you're leading the points, and you've led the points for a while. Do you guys feel like you're being overlooked a little bit? And is that a good thing for your organization, you know, heading into the summer after you've put off a bunch of solid finishes at tracks where you've struggled?
Yeah, I think for me, I've been down this road a bunch of times, and no offense, but you know, it really doesn't matter what you guys think. It's all about just performing on the racetrack and being solid. Going through spurts of winning a couple races here and there aren't going to win a championship. It's just not going to happen. You got to be solid week in and week out. We need to win a couple more races before the chase starts, but all in all, you have to win a couple races, but you can't have 30th, 35th place finishes and be disasters a couple weeks here and there. So I feel like that's always been the strong point of our team is consistency, and this year the consistency happens to be, you know, when you're having a bad day, you finish, you know, like last week we had all kinds of stuff go wrong. We finished 11th, and those are the things that you have to do to win a championship, and if we win it quietly, I'm fine with that.
Kev, Pat Patterson, Sirius PRN. If I compared this race car here last year that you brought to Pocono to the race car you're going to go out and get in and practice in just a few minutes, we all know that building lighter race cars is what everybody's goal is, so you can move weight around and find a better feel. Is a lighter race car and the ability to manipulate the weight around the car giving you a better feel, and how much has that contributed to keeping up with the racetrack this year for you and your team?
Well, I think in I mean, anywhere they, the goal is to build it as light as possible. Weight has a lot to do with the things that have gone on, but I think there's just a lot of pieces that go with everything that has turned around what we have done. So, but everybody in the garage is very weight conscious of how much their race cars weigh and when it's time to not bring that car to the racetrack anymore because it weighs too much. So it's a very weight conscious garage right now for sure.
Okay, we got two more. We'll finish up. We'll go here and we'll go over to Bob.
Josh Reed, ABC 27 out of Harrisburg. When you're the points leader, how do you approach a race as opposed to maybe if you're outside the top 12, looking to get up into the top 12?
Yeah, and that's for us. This is something we've really been a part of before. We've been 11th, 12th, 13th over the last couple of years, and it's been a few years since we've been able to just be solid week in and week out and just go race like you need to and not have to worry about whether you're going to make the chase. And you really don't. We're not really chasing points right now. You're worried about those bonus points and trying to win. And coming in here, that's the main goal is to. You don't want to have any big disasters and lose that 100-point chunk. But we gotta go out and put ourselves in position to have chances to win. So that for me, we can be more aggressive than we have been in the past in chasing those goals.
Last question.
Kevin, Bob Matthews from WVPO and WSBG here in the Poconos. It was a big deal a couple of years ago when drivers found out they could no longer shift up here and that type of thing. Does that still pose a problem, or is that something you have under control and no longer causes any agita?
Yeah, as long as everybody's on the same plan, it doesn't pose really any problems. And I think you see a lot less failures than what we've seen here in the past from the engines and transmissions and drivetrain components than we've seen in the past. It was fun shifting, but I think in trying to shore up all the financial situations and cost containments of the sport, I think it was probably a good move because you spend a lot of money with transmission rate engines for this particular race.
Kevin, thank you, and good luck this weekend.
Thanks, guys.